If you've been trying for years, but you are not losing weight, or you've not been successful in keeping it off, there's probably one of the three reasons that are actually stopping you. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what that is. But before we go there, if you haven't already, please click the subscribe button below, because on this channel, you're going to learn how to build a strong, awesome looking, healthy, high performing physique, what I call the 7-figure body that goes along with your business success. Everybody, this is Coach Amir from 7figurebody.com, and in today's video, I'm going to give you a little framework that you can kind of always run your weight loss or dieting attempt through to see if it's not working in the way that you want. You're not getting the result that you want. This is probably going to be one of the three things that I'm going to talk about is probably going to be the reason you're not getting there. And of course, then you can actually literally go down this checklist and figure out which of these three things are you missing, because it has to be containing all three. If it isn't, it's just simply not going to work. So it's one of the ways to look at it is basically like a three-legged stool, right? So the three things that you really need in order to, let's say, go from overweight to completely shredded. So, let's say you have 20, 50, 100 pounds to lose, and you have not enough muscle and on the one side, and on the other side, it's you absolutely shredded, having an 8-pack, having a lot of lean, awesome looking ripped muscle, and being very, very, very healthy and having an awesome looking and high performing body. So between one and the other, there's a bunch of steps, obviously, but if we really narrow it down, there's only three things that you really need to kind of get really, really good at. And when you do, the result of going from here overweight to here ripped is absolutely inevitable. So without further ado, here are the three things. So number one is guesstimating the calories that you consume per day without tracking them. So that's why I always say the most important thing you can do is control your calories, because calories are king. We all know that calories are king for weight loss and weight gain. Nothing new, in the last 100 years of scientific research, we have known that you have to control your calories, obviously. So how to do that? Well, the best way to do that is to start tracking calories for a couple of weeks. Now, a good thing here is you do not need to track your calories for the rest of your life. You just need to do it long enough until you gain the skill of looking at a certain food. And this can be a food that you've never seen in your life. You don't even know what it is. Like if you go to some, country that you've never been in, and there's some kind of exotic, traditional food that maybe is not in the, for example, MyFitnessPal database. It doesn't matter. If you look at it, you're like, hey, I have an idea of what this could be. You can guesstimate the number of calories there are in that food, and then you'll be able to, based on what you should be eating, you can kind of make that balance automatically work for you. So this is the most important skill you can gain, the guesstimation of your calories consumed. Okay, that's number one. That's the most important part, I would say, of losing weight and keeping it off. Number two is lifting weights properly, meaning building enough muscle. So in order to build muscle, we know that cardio does not build muscle, lifting weights or resistance training does. So you don't have to be in the gym if you don't want to. You can work out at home. You can do bodyweight stuff, calisthenics. You can do, just buy a set of bands, which I have a lot of clients who travel a lot, and they just have a set of bands that go from very light to heavier and heavier and heavier, and just bring that with you if you're traveling, or you can just have that in your house in the garage somewhere and totally work with that. Of course, the issue with both bodyweight stuff and these bands and things like that are that eventually it gets boring and you get over how heavy they are. Now, can you do that successfully for years? Yeah, you sure can. But a lot of times people just get bored with it. So that's why I always say the best thing is simply just go to the gym. Usually gyms are like 10 to 50, maybe $100 if it's a premium gym per month. And this is probably one of the best investments you'll make in your health, right? Again, if you want to start by working out in your house or garage or whatever else, you certainly can. It's much better to start with doing anything than doing nothing, obviously. But eventually, you're probably going to end up in a gym, because remember, this is something you should be doing for the rest of your life. So let's say if you're 35, 40 years old, you have like 50, 60 years to live. For the next 60 years, are you going to use a set of bands and do bodyweight stuff for the next 60 years? Maybe, theoretically, you can. But in reality, the gym is going to give you much, much more variety of things. You can always change things up as frequently or, not frequently as you want. So to kind of beat the boredom of doing the same thing, number one. Number two, it's so much easier to progress in a gym when you actually have weights, because, if you're doing body weight stuff, what are you going to do a year from now? 15 sets of 300 push-ups, right? Like who's got the time and nerves to not be bored out of their mind doing all of these push-ups? Instead, if you're in the gym, just put more weight on that bar or on that machine, okay? So that's the second thing. So the first one, guesstimating calories. Number 2, building muscle by doing resistance training. Number 3 is daily steps. You need to build a habit of doing 8 to 10,000 steps per day. I've talked about this many times, but this is one of the most neglected, yet one of the most impactful, one of the most important things that you can do to not just lose weight, but keep it off forever, because your overall activity goes up and therefore you're overall healthier and you're going to live longer if you do that. Studies have shown a dozen times by now, or dozens of times by now, that being sedentary is so bad that it's actually better to be active and smoke than it is to be sedentary and not smoke. So basically, being sedentary is worse than smoking. That's how bad it is. And of course, doing 8 to 10,000 steps a day fixes this. You can't do 10,000 steps a day and be sedentary. That doesn't work, right? You have to kind of move around in order to, and generally speaking, if you're walking, about 10 minutes of walking is 1,000 steps. So you're going to have to walking probably hour and 15 to hour and a half throughout the day. I'm not saying you have to take a dedicated walk for an hour, which you certainly can do, but I would much rather prefer that you have a bunch of 10, 15 minute moving around, doing things generally throughout the day to accumulate hour and a half total, simply because it's spread out throughout the day, okay? So these are the 3 big things. And remember, this is just like, if somebody said, hey, is your heart or your brain or your lungs more important? Well, you can't look at it that way because you're not really alive or functioning properly without any of them. You have to have all 3. Same thing in business. If you say, is marketing more important or sales or delivery? Well, you don't have a business if you're missing either of these. You have to have marketing to bring in, the leads, sales to convert them to paying clients, and then delivery, you actually have to deliver what you promise. If you have missing any of these 3, it's not going to work. The business goes under. So the exact same thing here is, you can't say, lifting is less or more important than steps or whatever. You need all 3 to function optimally and really have the best of all 3 worlds, which coming into one is what gives you that high performing, awesome looking, extremely healthy, body that not just looks amazing, which is really, really good. Of course, who doesn't like looking good? But it's also about performing at the highest level, being a great role model to your kids, your family, your spouse, your employees, anybody else who knows you, looking and saying, hey, this person, this guy or girl really has it together, because their body shows that they do, right? So everybody can talk, words are empty and meaningless unless we back it up with action. Then it does make all the difference. So guys, remember, these 3 things are really what you need, and you should focus on building one at a time. Of course, all can be done at the same time, but you shouldn't be taking 100 things at a time. You can slowly be doing small little things daily to kind of, in all 3 areas, to have a massive outcome, which is exactly what I have with my clients. On average, in the first 3 months of working with me, in the first 12 weeks, my average client loses between 15 and 20 pounds of actual body fat while putting on somewhere between 3 to 5, sometimes a bit more pounds of muscle in the first 12 weeks. So this is a complete body transformation. So guys, that's it for this video. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button below. And also, if you like this video, you're actually going to love the free training that I have for you that you can click in the video description and see. It's absolutely free. You just need to put your email so I know exactly where to send it. And then you're going to get access to a complete video showing A to Z how I transform and also have transformed already 1,200 entrepreneurs in the last 14 years. One other thing that I'm going to add is, this is my book that is on Amazon, being currently sold for $25. It has all 5-star reviews, and when you click there and put your email there, and not only that you're going to get the training that's going to show you A to Z how to do this for yourself, you're also going to get a free copy, digital copy of this book delivered to your inbox right after you sign up. So click that subscribe button below. Also go to video description, check out the link there that says here's the 3 steps to going from wherever you are now to completely shredded, and you're also going to get a free digital copy of this book as well. So guys, that's it for this video. See you in the next one.